Equity analysts play an important role in our capital markets. They issue research reports which help investors make effective investment decisions. However, it can put them in compromising situations. In the early 2000s, regulators had accused equity analysts of favorably biasing their research in order to generate more business for their investment banks. This led regulators to essentially remove equity analysts from the IPO process. An IPO, or initial public offering, is when firms issue equity for the first time. Since that rule change, since the early 2000s, there's been a sustained decline in the number of IPOs. There's been less information out there for small investors to make effective investment decisions. So the Jobs Act of 2012 was a regulatory change that reintroduced equity analysts to the IPO process. After that passage of the rule, equity analysts can more easily communicate with prospective investors at the request of their investment bank. They can more easily communicate with managers of the issuing firm, and they can more easily communicate with their investment banking team. And so our study, our research looks at how the research reports of analysts changed before and after the Jobs Act. As regulators expected this information to be more informative, we actually find the exact opposite. Following the Jobs Act, research reports issued by these analysts involved in the IPO process are less accurate, less informative, and more optimistically biased. One thing we found was interesting in the study, we looked at analyst optimism and how it associates with both IPO pricing and trading volume. We found after the Jobs Act there was a stronger association between analyst optimism and IPO trading and IPO pricing, and those are two very important components of investment banking revenues. So analysts were better off, and their brokerage houses and investment banks were better off. Moreover, firms were better off because they're getting higher prices for their IPOs, and the trading volume that's getting generated from these reports is actually allowing them to sell into the liquidity created by these optimistic analyst reports. But investors, small investors who rely on this information are worse off. We find investors who invest after the release of these affiliate analyst research reports lose 3 to 4% of their investment. And so in sum, our research led to a wealth transfer from small investors to analysts, their investment banks, and their clients. Right now, Congress is currently debating extending the Jobs Act provisions to all IPO firms. Right now, the study just focuses on small IPOs, and our research shows that we need to think carefully how these rule changes affect all participants, especially small investors.